Welcome back to the Jurassic Thoughts podcast, episode number 2. Dan, how's it going, man?
It's going very well, Sam. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I know we were chatting, but just got back from New York. Yesterday was on a school sport career trek. So was in related to this. I was in the NBA office. I know I sent you me and the Larry OB, so that
Very
was cool to
OB.
see. Larry OB, that was really cool. And just really impressive, man. The what those I mean, I expected nothing less from the professional sport headquarters, but really impressive stuff, and it was definitely a worthwhile trip. So that was something I've done recently. That was really cool.
That's great. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's been good so far. Long weekend, so some time off, which is nice. Family time. I was up north a little bit earlier. Just drove back yesterday, so
Nice.
yeah.
Shitty first Jays game of the series, but we're gonna bounce back today, and
Yeah,
yeah,
we want to keep
trade
it
day,
interesting.
trade day today.
Trade day.
Yeah,
There we
exactly.
go.
All right. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to sort of go through. We have 4 preseason games the Raptors have played. We're going to finish up our summer recap because we did forget to touch on one thing that I wanted to address. And then we're also going to go into our Eastern Conference standing predictions where we kind of see the Raptors slotting in. And we're going to go through some Raptor X factors for this year. Guys we think are going to be crucial to how successful the team is. Sound good with you, man?
That sounds great.
Okay. Okay, so the first thing, Jakob Pertl has not played a preseason game. They've said he has it's either a sore back or a stiff back. It's a back thing. Who knows if that's, the real reason or they're just trying to rest him. He's an older guy. And related to that, and the one thing that happened this summer is we signed Pertl to a 4-year, $104 million extension. You and me love talking contracts and trades and just overall transactions. And I know you always have a strong opinion either way. Very rarely are you love it for both sides. You usually have a clear winner and loser. So first thoughts when you saw Pertl for 104 this summer.
Well, I guess this is an anomaly because I actually do love it for both sides. It's a rare thing.
Wow, it,
Yeah.
it is. It is a
I
ring.
think I think he's a top 10 defensive center in the league. I think it's a great movable contract for us. He has value down the line if we choose to tank again this year. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Um, Everyone down the stretch, especially playoff teams, are always looking to bulk up defensively. So, although he's a pretty penny to pay, you can match it with cap filler contracts. So I do like it for us. He's going in the right direction towards the future because he's still young enough to justify our timeline, I think. What's he,
He
28,
turns 30
29?
in a couple days. 30 in a
Okay.
couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting up there, but luckily he doesn't rely on his athleticism, I would say, for his contributions. So he can play well into his mid 30s, I would say, and still be a serviceable player. Tail end of the contract might look a little dicey, but by then the salary cap's going to go up enough to where it's still not unmovable. So yeah, it's a good foundation to lay, but I don't think he'll be in a Raptor for the whole 4 years of that contract, if I'm being honest.
Interesting.
But I don't hate it.
Okay.
I don't hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this extension is such a symptom of the moves Masai did to try and rush the rebuild at the end. Like, okay, so we're doing the rebuild, and last year was all the messaging was, "Give us time, guys. This is year one of the rebuild. Like whatever, whatever." But then you trade for Ingram. So then it's like, well, now you can't really tell me as a fan that it is still the rebuild because we just traded pick. I know it, like player cost was nothing, but you traded a first round pick. Rebuilding teams do not do that. And then with Pirtle, okay, so we just traded a pick to get Ingram, and we extended Ingram for a big number, but we're gonna let Pirtle walk because we are afraid to do his extension because there would not have been a better center on the market available to us. Like, oh, great, Mark Williams. I think you and I would be like, oh God, like
How's
that's
the back,
terrible.
Mark?
Exactly, Mark. Let's play like 50 games this year, and then we'll chat. Um, but yeah, I think you kind of backed ourselves. I'm not saying I hate the extension. I like Pirtle as a player for sure. It's going to take him from his age 30 to 33 season. So, like you said, not too old in the tooth. That's still pretty prime years. Um, I will say though, like my whole point is, I don't think we had much leverage, and we once we traded and signed Ingram, it's you could not let your center walk for nothing. So
And just to add
yeah,
on that as well, looking back how we acquired or reacquired Jakob rather, another first round pick went out the door, right? Ended up being insignificant,
yes,
but at the end of the day, we did give up a piece. So it's
and
nice to
let's
retain
because
some asset value.
hmm and we our first podcast mistake. We said the Pirtle and Thad Young trade was the same. We then realized it was not because who could remember that Kem Birch was the salary in getting Pirtle back? I love you,
Good old
Kem. You're
Canadian boy.
Canadian. Yeah, Canadian boy. But yeah, that was yeah, that was who was in the Pirtle trade, along with the pick we gave the Spurs, which was Dillingham. That one I know for sure. Um, so yeah, don't. I'm kind of neutral on the Pirtle extension. I hope he can stay healthy, and I hope this back thing is really just a smokescreen, and we're just resting him. He's one of our older players. Um, but yeah, we if we're gonna be a good team, Pirtle's got to be a big part of our starting five. I know Scotty's a good rebounder, but Pirtle's just a beast on the glass. So I hope he can play 60 plus games this year. I think that'd be really important.
I agree. And if you don't mind segueing into the preseason, because I think this ties to
Yeah,
his importance for
yeah,
us. Um, yeah, I guess we can jump right into the Nuggets game, the very first preseason game for the Raps.
yep.
My
In
very
Vancouver.
first in Vancouver, they went West Coast. My very first little note that I made was without Pirtle, we looked like, his absence was clear. We had no blocks. The Nuggets had
But
six. I know it's
you
preseason.
didn't you didn't think John Mobo was a good matchup on on
6'9"
Jokic?
Mobo, I mean, I like him, but he's a situational kind of guy, and he's not definitely not going to be our starter. So that was the first note that I wrote down. It was clear that we missed him. Um, it was
Not saying
it was
anyone could do a good job on Jokic. It's pretty clear no one can. But our 2024 second rounder, not a recipe for success on Nikola.
no,
But
no, I
go
don't think
on.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's favorable. And just yeah, adding on to that, it was a sloppy game. It's the first preseason game with a really young team that was assembled partly, throughout last year. So there's not a lot of chemistry, and that's going to be a growing pain throughout the season as it continues. But there was obviously good things. I actually liked Ingram's effort on D. Uh, Although
Wow. Okay.
he looked at times like a chicken running around with like his head cut off like a chicken. But um, I like the effort. Like he didn't kind of just skate by. I think it'll just come as the season goes on, more instincts and pass perception, stuff like that. But he was trying, which I think is a lot more that can be said for the previous teams that he was on, which was nice to see.
Right. Right.
And then Sandro, we can talk about Mamu really quick.
Mamu.
Mamu, his form was very pure. He does look like a true shooter. I liked his minutes. He's a scorer. My
Yeah.
only sort of quarrel with him is when are we gonna play this guy? Because I think
You and me
as big as he
disagree on
is,
this, but we'll get into
I
that.
know.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So okay, yeah. I mean, I like you touched on Ingram defensively for me, and I'll hit on Mamu as well. But so Ingram played Denver and he played Kings, and then he didn't play the last two games, Wizards and Celtics. I think they say he has like a sore hip or something, but again, take the preseason injury stuff with a grain of salt. Hopefully that's
Gonna
just a
keep bit
rest
his
thing.
tongue too. So yeah.
Yeah. Man, it is fun to have just a pure ISO score again. It's been years. Some of the stuff he just created out of nothing, man. The Scotty era, in my opinion, like since Pascal left specifically, we've had to work so hard for our offense, man. Like we've had to be pretty perfect on that end. And now with Ingram coming and just being able to just smooth, like get to a spot and have like open jumpers and just create by oh, shit, it's 5 seconds left on the clock, pass it to Ingram, and you know like you have a chance because he can
Mm-hmm.
create something quickly. So it's been really, and we expected that. We expected him to be our best offensive player. So far in his 2 games, he's looked the part. He's looked really encouraging, in my opinion. His game's always been smooth, and it's been very fun to watch it in a Raps jersey, albeit in 2 preseason games. So definitely with you. I've been really happy with Ingram so far, as I think we expected with an all-star and a vet. It's been really good. Mamu, I have loved the Mamu experience so far. It's so funny to me, this whatever height he is, 6'10", 6'11", 7-foot center, lefty center, draining threes, dude. I'm such a romantic for a stretch five. Like
Mm.
those players I really like. And Mamu's form, dude, like just it's almost like his ass is out, but it's just like it looks funny to me. But like his first threes in Denver cash,
Yeah.
and I think that was his best shooting game. I watched all the games, but just the threat out there from him, I've loved. And also surprisingly, he had a couple drives where it was like through traffic, and he finished it, man.
Yeah.
Like he didn't do it often, but I'd say he like one drive a game, and I was like, oh shit, like Mamu,
Mm-hmm.
like where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Just like a solid stretch, a bench center,
Mm-hmm.
and we can I guess transition a bit. So still preseason, but in terms of our depth. So I believe Mamu's going to be the backup center and get those minutes. I'm pretty sure you are higher on Mobo for there. I know you just asked where you think Mamu's going to play. In my head, if Pirtle's playing, low 30s, Mamu's high teens, low 20s. That's where I see him fitting in. To me, he's above Mobo in the depth chart, but I know you disagree, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for me, it's just how much playing time can we get away with, where he's not gonna be a liability defensively.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern. It's never about offense. The fact that he can stretch the floor, does wonders for Bino and RJ. But I look at him like in a common theme as well across the preseason games. We've been running a 2-3, and he's on the wing. He's not even in the paint because he's just too slow. He's just too slow to rotate. So like that's concerning to me as is. He doesn't look comfortable in defense. He's kind of just a body out there, and he's filling space, but he's not by any means a rim protector. Um, that's what scares me. I think he's a situational guy. You come in, give us 5, 6 consecutive minutes, give Pirtle a breather. But down the line, and I made note of this, I think we should look at possibly getting another legitimate 7-footer who is there to play defense and only defense. Because
He's
when
six
Pirtle's
nine.
out,
I just looked it up. He's
yeah,
6'9",
so
so definitely undersized.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When Pirtle's out, I think there'll be some there'll be some interesting defensive schemes that we'll have to run to try and hide him. But
Sure.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think if we need shooting, obviously you bring him out and then you try and hide him a little bit. But you know,
Right.
I don't think he'll be getting more than
Well,
12 minutes a game.
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I just don't think.
definitely early in the season. Okay, go on.
No, I just don't think he's a really nice piece, but we'll see as the season continues. I could be proven wrong, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm not as high on him as I am on other younger guys in the depth chart. So
Yeah. And this is something we can go into now. I think he off the bench, him and CMB make a lot of sense. And speaking of CMB, so hurt in the Celtics game, didn't return, didn't play yesterday. It's an elbow injury. They've said X-rays are negative, so hopefully it's a day-to-day thing. Um, he in the Denver game, I thought he was kind of just feeling it out. And then, wow, in the Kings game, he was very impressive. I think he had like 12, 6, and 6, something like
Yep.
that, sort of
Yep.
everywhere. Man, he is, and we said this coming in, but watching him play, just built like a tank.
Hmm.
And he's a rookie, and I'd already argue he's probably our strongest player, like him and Pirtle. It's pretty impressive. Um, and here's my thing with the Mamu stuff is I like to me Mobo is not in the 10-man rotation because CMB and Mobo I think are pretty similar. Worse, and CMB's just the better player right now, and probably that's probably going to stay the same, barring Mobo making a big leap. Um, and yeah, I want obviously we just used a first round pick on him. I want to invest in him. And that Kings game to me that's like okay, this is what he can the idealized version of him is just a chaos agent wrecking havoc like on the defensive end, strong drives. Pretty good touch, I thought. There were a couple layups he made that I was impressed with. And I know he had at least one or two threes too, so definitely still shooting from out there. Um, Hopefully he can come back, play one of the next two games before the season starts. But as long as he's healthy, come October 22nd, I'm good. But yeah, that Kings game, really impressive stuff from CMB.
No, I agree. I agree. He looks pretty comfortable out there. And like you said, smooth touch around the rim. So I'm totally on board with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we said, another lefty taking after
Hmm.
yourself. We got RJ, Mamu, CMB.
That's
I
right.
think that's it. Yeah, but
Believe so. Yeah.
lefty heavy this year. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And another thing,
Okay.
like just really
Yeah.
quick on the Kings game. I guess I didn't notice this against the Nuggets, but does Gritty Dick not look like he put on a little bit of muscle? He looks a little bit
Interesting.
more filled in.
I definitely wanted to talk on Grady. Yeah, so Grady in the Denver game, I thought was sort of all over the place. I wasn't loving what I was seeing. And then the last three games, been very impressed, which I think is good for him because I was going to ask you this today, but I think Grady, with his play yesterday and the Celtics game, really stood out. But with Grady, Jacoby, and Ochai, I was going to ask you like how you currently rank those guys,
Mm.
and if there's one out of the rotation, who do you think it'll be at the start of the year?
It depends what direction we're going, because they all have their own strengths and weaknesses, obviously. So one thing I noticed from Grady in the preseason games is he looks better offensively, which was never really the issue with Grady because he was always a bit streaky last year. He put up 20 and then he put up 8.
The
But the thing
issue
that's
the
gonna,
issue
yeah,
with the issue with Grady has been his secondary skills have been good. Like he's sneaky athletic, he makes scrappy hustle plays, like all that's we draft him to be a shooter and he has not shot the ball well enough yet from three. All the secondary parts of his game I've been really happy with. Like he's been getting offensive rebounds, first guy on the floor on a loose ball. Like he's strong takes to the rim. If he can just shoot the three better, man, he'll be an awesome bench player for us this year.
well, what I was gonna say is actually the opposite. Like, of course, that's what we got him for is to shoot threes. But what's gonna keep him on the court is defense, and he still looks like a liability out there.
For
Because
sure, but
it'd
just
be
with
great.
with our team, we need the shooting. We need the shooting.
Of course. I mean, when you really break it down, he probably is our best three-point shooter at the moment right now.
He's up there.
Even with
Oh, I
even
mean,
with him
yeah,
and his struggles, I mean, he's looked good in preseason. We'll see how it carries over to the regular season.
yeah,
But
yeah.
IQ's been pretty non-existent. I know he played last
He had a
game.
good game
That's
yesterday.
okay.
He had a good game
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah,
But
yeah.
prior to that, like I didn't. He was invisible. against the Nuggets.
Yep.
Granted, I'm sure
Yep.
maybe Darko said, Ingram, let's see what you're made of. It's his first game as a
All,
Raptor. We'll
all
see.
the
I don't know
all
what
the
was
all
said.
the yeah, all the preseason stuff we're taking it with a grain of
It's a
salt.
grain of salt, of course.
Yeah, we obviously are not diving in hot take wise either direction here. We're kind of just
Hmm.
talking about just plays we've seen and exciting trends, disappointing trends. So yeah, someone who's not played well, and there's a big name that I'm gonna bring up because I've not been impressed with him so far. But yeah, to close the book on Grady. I've been definitely encouraged the last three
Hmm.
games. Um, you can kind of tell. I think he's playing more confidently than a first or second year player now entering year three.
Hmm.
He kind of, to me, looks like he knows where his shots are going to be. He knows the gaps he can sort of attack. And yeah, he's always had the sneaky athleticism. My hope for him is just the shooting comes to be a significant above average shooter this year. So,
Hmm.
been really happy with Grady. Is there anything else you want to add on, or do you want to move on?
Well, just sorry to circle back and answer your question originally. I probably
Yes,
would
let's.
I
Yeah,
probably would rank it in terms of minutes, like distribution. I
yeah,
give Grady the most. Yeah. I think he has the
yeah.
higher impact upside for us. And then I haven't given up on Jacoby. Not to say that I don't like
I think he's
Ochai,
looked
because
good, man. I
he
think he's had
has.
moments in the
It's
preseason.
his it's a second year. You got to give the kid
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Ochai, I really do like Ochai. And when we got him, I was excited because he's known for his defense. He's a longer wing, and he can kind of swap between guarding wings, guarding guards. So I still like him, but in terms of development and who I think we know what Ochai is at this moment in time for what he's going to
great.
look like for
Yeah,
the rest of his career. So, but Jacoby still has a lot of development to go through, and it's the same with Grady.
yeah,
But if we are in a win now situation, I'd probably put Ochai out there if we really need some
yeah.
defense. So,
I totally agree with. We kind of know the player Ochai is at this point. He's going to be a serviceable 3 and D guy, which might have him above Jacoby. It probably does have him above Jacoby starting the
hmm.
year just because knows his role. He's more of a vet. Um, and Darko kind of knows what to expect there. But like I said, Jacoby has, I think, changed the hair. He's got short hair now. He's looking good. Um, and he's had moments in the preseason when I've definitely noticed him. Um, Jumper looks good, but like yeah, kind of I think you hit it dead on where Ochai is just development wise is obviously further along. Jacoby, I would hope would have higher upside than if this is where Ochai sort of stagnates, which is still a good NBA player, a 3 and D player. But I'd hope Jacoby there's room for more from him than that. I think on the ball he's looked okay as well, so that's something I'd like to see more of. Maybe not against NBA starters, but just something he could still continue to work on because I think there might be something to tap into there. Okay, IQ. Let's talk about it. So going back to your muscle point, I think he's bulked up too. He looks a little stronger to me, um, which is good, man, because this is it. Well, not it, but come on, IQ. Like this is the year we need games and we need production from you. Your Raptor, when we got you in the OG trade, I was very excited. RJ was more the salary match, and you were like we didn't get a first rounder there, so it was like okay, this is a bet on quickly, and you know, and all the stats and getting mostly the games played the last 2 years, we kind of talked about it. It's kind of a shit show because we were resting guys so long to tank. So who knows how injured he was last year? But this year, here we go. Like this is where we need games and production from him. Like you said, the Denver game. I'm I don't know if he played the Kings game. I'm trying to remember. I know he played the Denver
He
game.
didn't. He didn't play the Kings.
He didn't. Okay. Yeah. So he played the Denver game, and then he played up the street from me in DC yesterday. Denver, like you said, not much going on. And then yesterday, shot 10 threes. I'm pretty sure he made 5 of them. And then he had a quote. I don't know if it was yesterday, but I saw it on the timeline yesterday saying he wants to average 10 3-point attempts per game. He hit 10 yesterday. That might be a little ambitious just with Scotty and BI and RJ being, high usage players, but if he's close to 10 in attempts, maybe like 8, I think that'd be great. And man, when his jumper's just smooth, dude. It is so quick, like, no pun intended, but it when he connected on 5 of them, I think yesterday, like it was good to see for sure.
Yeah, yeah. He's been when we traded for him, he was kind of thrown to an unfortunate situation. We didn't want to play him. We didn't want him to be good necessarily to obviously increase our odds with the draft pick. And this is the year where he has to prove like earn that
The contract,
32.5
yep.
million exactly. So we gave him the money up front with the hopes that he can deliver. So this is where you put your money where the mouth is, obviously, for IQ.
We saw players this offseason, restricted free agents and free agents, using Quickly's contract as like, but wait,
A
what the
baseline.
fuck?
Yeah,
Why am I getting offered that? I'm better than Quickly, and he got this huge contract.
exactly.
Um, so yeah, I'm with you. It's a big year for him. We invested, and a lot of people think that investment was not a great one for that number. I think Quick's still a good player, but for that
Mhm.
number,
Mhm.
let's start seeing it, man. This year
Mhm.
we need to start seeing some. If he plays 60 games, I'm happy with room for more. But we got to get consistent starting point guard play from him this year.
Where do you see quickly when it comes to scoring for us? Is he our second option? Is he our third
Off the
option?
catch, I think a lot because, and there were some plays of that yesterday. Ingram, not really an off the catch guy. Scotty, definitely not an off the catch guy. Pirtle's not obviously going to be out there. So, and like RJ can, I've seen RJ do it. But I think if Quick can sort of be running around, not Curry, but how Curry is just constantly moving, looking for little gaps. And with quickly how fast he shoots it, man, he does not need a lot of time. Like if he gets an open look, it's being fired, like it's going. So I think if he's running around and Scotty can find him off the catch from 3, I think that'll be a big role for him this year.
I was gonna say I think he'll run around some screens. Scotty can do a bit of post play, run the offense through
Yeah,
there, and then I don't want it to necessarily be post centric because I think we have other runners, and I want to be able to utilize Bino's like stretch capabilities. But I can definitely see some schemes where similar to how Draymond and Steph do it, starts in the post, Draymond finds them either or on the
yeah.
perimeter as well because Scotty's a good enough passer.
And we're not, the Bill Sim aggregators. We're not saying that's who they are. We're just saying actions and sort of the idealized version of
Yeah, of
those two,
course.
and that
Definitely
play
not
style. Yeah.
comparing IQ just good
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. The- okay. Great. Anything else on IQ or?
No, no, all
All
good.
right. RJ. Been very happy with him from what I've seen. He played 3. He played Kings, Denver, and Wizards. I'm pretty sure he played Kings, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And okay. Threes look good. Slashing still looks strong. Um, I've been really encouraged with him actually. Like he looks just against these like lesser units with other teams playing their preseason, he looks, significantly above them. Um, I think my biggest thing with RJ is, and I'll run this by you. I think it would make sense to get him to be the first sub early in the game so he can kind of run bench units. So like if you sub him and Grady out within 4 or 5 minutes of the game, get Grady shooting more with the starting 5, and then have RJ be the lead on the bench units. To me, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I actually never considered that, but now that you mention it like that, I think that's a great idea. I think having spacing out there to start is great. I think RJ is a better defender than Grady.
Yeah,
The gap's
I
not
agree.
huge, so that's definitely it's possible. And another note that I made, at least from the Nuggets game, and I saw it a little bit throughout the other games, was when RJ and Bino aren't out there, it definitely shows the offense has changed and we struggle to find good
Yep.
shots. Um,
Yep.
So that's a great idea to kind of put RJ in the second unit there and help mesh with those guys. Not to say he's not going to close the game, but starting,
Oh yeah,
I really like
yeah,
that notion. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a yeah.
yeah. Honestly, I don't have much else to say on RJ. I've been happy
Yeah.
for sure with how he's looked. And transitioning, because now we got to do it. We've not talked about one certain guy, and you saying when RJ and Ingram aren't on the court, we struggle. Ugh. Okay. Caveat that this is preseason. He could be working on stuff, but man, Scotty not been impressed offensively in the Denver game, and then he played yesterday against the Wiz. Oh man, do
Really,
you want to
really
start
quick.
or
Yeah, I'll start
yeah?
on this. I think and this was the same as last year, although obviously different circumstances. We know Scotty doesn't have an appetite to score. He can score, but he doesn't necessarily want to every single possession. He's not a killer. That's why I think bringing Bino in wasn't
Agree.
so that was to kind of plug that hole. And then as well, like obviously when IQ gets hot, he'll be taking more shots. You hope RJ can give you the same productivity he's giving you now. I think we're looking to Scotty more so as a defensive pillar now that he has support offensively around him. So yes, offensively he has been. I mean, in the preseason he's been a disaster, like you said. He's probably trying stuff out. I'm sure the numbers aren't going to be the same when it comes to
I hope
opening
so. I
day. I
hope
hope so
so.
as well, but. Um, I don't mind Scotty averaging between 15 and 18 on good efficiency, but focusing more so on the playmaking aspect and holding it down defensively. If he falls there,
So
it may look like a
yeah.
regression, but at the end of the day, we'll see where we place in the standings.
So the last two
We
years he's
knew
averaged over. Okay, go on, go
nine.
on.
No, I'm just like I think we're catching it while early, knowing that we're not going to try and make this guy into our best scorer. And I think sometimes teams don't recognize that. Like I think the Cavs did a good job with Mobley when they realized he's not going to be our best scorer, but he's an absolute defensive pillar, winning defensive player of the year. They made the Donovan Mitchell trade. They got a true one. Obviously, Garland can put the rock in the basket. So like I think it's actually it's good that we're not limiting him offensively. We're just saying here's support, focus on things you're good at, and then any sort of development offensively will be a big plus.
Okay, so you and me see this very differently. I completely agree with the Ingram part. And Scotty said, and I think we touched on this last pod, is I want to pass the rock, Brandon wants to score the rock, right? Like he's aware of the dynamic, and I agree with you. That's what he's aiming to do. Um, I'm not even talking about his role on offense and stuff. I'm talking about the process of some of the offensive possessions he's had these two games. With the caveat, it's preseason. So Scotty averaged over 19 last 2 years. You know, like you said, if he's doing a bunch of other stuff and that's around his number, because the other guys have stepped up, I'm totally fine with it. I'm not looking at his stats with like his offensive role. The amount of times in these two games he's played where he's had the ball going downhill with like yeah, like a smaller defender in the way, but he still had like space to operate. And he just settles, man, for these
Hmm.
contested mid ranges that it's just like you are he is a strong guy, man. He's lanky, like put your shoulder into him and drop. I did not see one impressive drive from Scotty in these two games. It's all these bullshit turnaround middies that and he can hit them. He hit his first two middies yesterday. I'm not saying he can't, but to me, it's the process. Like I have seen you dunk the ball on people. I have seen you aggressively go to the rim. If you don't want to do that in preseason, I take this all back. And if you show this early in the season, that's fine. I have this in my mind that it's preseason, and maybe that's why. Um, but I saw a tweet like yesterday. Like we just need more of this from Scotty this year, and it's like aggressive plays from his rookie season, and someone responded like praying for year one a year one leap in year five. And it's like hilarious, but it's also like, man, get back to driving the ball. You are not a good shooter, man. Like especially from three, not been good in your career. Your career 3 point average is 3%. Like you are drive the ball more so, and please stop with settling. You don't need to settle, man. Take the extra dribble and get into his chest.
Well, that's what I
I
was gonna
agree with
say.
you on the I agree with you on the process of like he doesn't need to be like RJ and Ingram will probably average more points than him. That's not at all what I'm saying. It's the process in which he's going about his offense. Go
But it's
on.
funny you bring up the rookie quote because that was something I was just about to say. In the rookie year, and I think partly the reason why we thought we can build him around, uh, like we can build our roster around him being our one, is he was hungry. He wanted to score. He
Yeah.
said, "Get me the fucking ball. I will put this in the basket." And he was relentless. I remember that series against Philly. He was really hungry for it. And since then, I don't know if it's the tanking, maybe psychologically it does something to you and your
Which
mentality,
is
but
totally fair, which is a
not knocking that.
legitimate thing to say. That's a
But a
legitimate
tr
thing to say.
but a true scorer is always going to want to score the ball, and it looks like Scotty has
Okay,
become a little bit
but
more
let
just bear with me. It just looks like Scotty's become a little bit more passive in the past few years, and doesn't have that same kind of tenacity when it comes to having the ball in his hands and wanting to score and win the game. He's not going to be the
yeah,
closer. We know that now. We knew this
which
from
is
last
fine.
year.
That's fine. That is
That's
fine.
totally okay.
I'm fine with that. With Ingram, that's fine. Um,
Okay, and just to draw a comparison really quickly. J Dub, the obvious two on OKC, right? Jalen Williams.
yeah, 2A with Chet 2B. Yeah,
Right. Does Scotty have that same kind of off like who is more of a scorer? Uh
J Dub.
true right. And like I don't and can Scotty ever be that? I don't think so. Like I
I
think
think J
Scotty's
Dub
gonna
shoots it
become
more.
for sure. I mean, he can score from
Yeah,
different areas, yeah. But
yeah.
I think Scotty will be on a if we become a winning team and a contender, he'll be a third or fourth option. And I think we have to accept
That
that, embrace it.
and
That's just
that's
the
why
way
I
the game
said to
goes.
you, yeah, that's why I said to you, my idealized version of Scotty is him at the one in the Ben Simmons role with just shooting.
I don't think.
I don't
I mean,
like he can shoot it a bit better, but I mean these three. Do you still have faith in the 3 point shot? It's been 4 years now, and it's 30%.
it's so hard because ideally you. I mean, he's at the four, so you can get away with your four not stretching the floor, and then if Mamu's out there, maybe that helps a
No,
bit.
no,
But
but I'm asking, do you have faith in
no, no,
Scott?
I
Like
know.
just his
Probably
shot.
not. I think he'll be a career at best 33, 34. He'll never be at league average from three, I don't think. I don't think.
His best is his third year. He shot 34.1%, and
Yeah.
he was an All Star that year.
And then what
That'd be
last year,
amazing.
29?
Last year, 27. He
Yeah.
went down 7% last year.
So, yeah, there's not really legitimate growth there. He was streaky third year,
Oh, there's the
basically.
opposite of
So,
growth.
exactly.
It went
So
down.
yeah, I'm not set on
Yeah.
him becoming like a respectable guy from beyond the arc. So,
And he
and that's
doesn't need
and
to
that's
be.
no, he doesn't. But that's my point is why I'm really liking that we added guys who can kind of alleviate that role
Yeah.
from him when he was trying to bite off more than he can chew. So
Right. And my whole thing is like, okay, you don't need to be a good shooter, but then drive the fucking ball. Stop seeing a little defender in your way and spin around midi. Like
yeah,
just drive it into his chest,
like
Scotty, please.
if you get the ball in the paint and it's a little guy, you got to take advantage. He has to know when to
Oh,
score and he has to know
stop
when to.
shooting over him.
He's got to be more
Go.
selective. Yeah, of course. And
Yes.
that's another thing I was gonna
Yes.
say as well about Ingram is that he doesn't force stuff, right? Like he
It
knows where
seems
his
pretty
skill set is.
natural. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very smooth. And then if he doesn't like something, he'll pass it up, and then he'll let the next guy have a go. So
Yeah.
and Scotty needs to just have a higher IQ offensively, and that will help translate with more efficient buckets and yeah, the scoring at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So let your team
Yeah.
help you. Yeah.
And like with Ingram, if he's getting double teamed, like RJ, IQ, and Scotty are great release valves offensively. Like all those guys can make stuff happen on that side of the floor. So I like your point. I don't think Ingram's going to force a lot of stuff this year.
Hmm.
Okay, I have one more thing to touch on preseason. Anything else from you?
Not necessarily. I mean, we touched upon some common themes, like the 2-3 zone. I really
Yeah.
hope when Pirtle's back, that's not going to stick, or if it does, at least we have a little bit more assurance in the paint. It didn't look good. We got picked apart by almost every team we used it against, including like a third string Celtics team. Um, but
That was a laughable end of that game.
it
Did you see the end
was.
of that
I
game?
did. I did see it.
We just
Wrong
picked
foot.
Baylor Shireman's pocket like three
Yeah.
times in a row, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
Yeah.
just
I
so
like
there.
it
Yeah,
though.
two games in a row with a game winner. We had the
Yeah.
Sar Bowl with Olivier getting that done, and then
Olivier,
Mobo against Boston.
Mo,
Hilarious, man.
big win. One thing I will say
Okay,
about the Celtics,
okay,
really
yeah,
quickly, just on the preseason before
yeah.
we move ahead. Elijah Martin looked like a guy who spent 5 years in college and looks like he knows his role. He didn't look raw. He looked like he knew what he was supposed to be doing, and he did it. I really liked his minutes against Boston. It was very limited. He didn't see a lot of preseason action, but is he someone that can come into a game and give you 12 minutes and, like hit some threes, play some good defense? Maybe. It's like as we mentioned in the previous pod as well, we're definitely heavy on guards. So he'll be fighting for those minutes, amongst Shed and there's a few other guys in the mix there. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate the draft pick from the limited things that we've seen.
This is an awesome transition into what I wanted to highlight here. I am so in on Chucky Hepburn. I am so in, dude. I'm not kidding. So he started the Boston game and played well, and then he played well yesterday too. I'm like, man, I think they're saying he was in college for a bit too, and like sort of pulled the team. They weren't very good, but he was like awesome, so he sort of dragged them into the tournament. Um, I'm not obviously the Freddie V the undrafted is a one in a million, and I'm not obviously saying that, but I would not be surprised if Chucky Hepburn is like I would not be surprised if he's like impressed Darko and has like Darko has a little bit as much trust as you can have in like an undrafted guy
Yeah.
coming into the season. But man, I've been really impressed with him so far. That was my sort of hot take for the preseason is
Yeah.
I literally wrote down Chucky Hepburn is a guy like in my
Yeah.
notes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's gonna be interesting to see because like you said he's undrafted. We're guard
yeah,
heavy. And this is
yeah.
maybe, you know, a shot in the dark out of left field, but are we moving a guy with value like Jacoby to shore up other holes, knowing that we have Hepburn and some other competitive guards that
And
can kind of
Shed's
contribute?
been good too.
Shed's been good. Shed's been good. He's a
Yeah,
system guy, so
he knows
it's
his
food for
role
thought.
very well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like when the time comes and we start to address these needs, come the deadline, some guys who
yeah.
have maybe a little bit more perceived value in the league can be on their way out to make space for Hepburn and Martin. We'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, not gonna don't need to touch about those guys a lot, but I'm on the Chucky Hepburn bandwagon on October. What's the date? The 13th.
The
I'm on
13th.
it. When this happens in a big way, just remember this, Dan, that I am on the bandwagon already. Okay, I think we're good preseason there. So yeah, we're gonna end up with our Eastern Conference predictions, and we're gonna touch on some X factors for the team. Do you care which one we do first, or
I like the
let's do?
Eastern
Should we do
Conference.
Eastern? Yeah,
I
let's do
like
that because we talked about players already for a bit, so let's switch it up. Okay, have you wrote down your just
one to
like general?
15 in the
Okay,
East. Yeah.
okay. That's better than me. I have them tiered. So
Okay, I
I
like that.
guess I can go, but I can honestly mine are kind of in
I
okay,
there's
I can match you if you go one down.
I
I
can
can
go
match you.
I
I can
I'll
match
do
you.
tiered and then I'll just give you what I think to be more exact, but
Okay.
either or.
Okay.
So in this order, and then also tiered. The first tier we have the Knicks and the Cavs, I think, as far away runaway favorites for the tier. The Magic made a great move, obviously acquiring Bane. I had to see it before I put them in tier one, but
That's
they're a close
fair.
second. But
Yep.
those it can and it I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavs take the conference again. Either or. The Knicks. The only reason why I put the Knicks is because they made good signings in the
Depth
offseason, and I
signings.
think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think last year maybe some of the guys were overworked. Brunson, of course, mainly, and then AJ.
Tibbs,
So
Tibbs,
Tibbs
Tibbs gone.
in classic Tibbs fashion. So he's riding his starters.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this will give a little bit more pace to the starters, and I think that's the reason why I put them one. And like I think having Clarkson off the bench is a nice punch for scoring as well. So it lets Brunson engage more in the moments that they actually need him, as opposed to always being in that mindset like I got to score, and then it kind of fucks with the
Right.
efficiency and everything. So yeah, Knicks and Cavs tier one, and then I have the Magic, Pistons, and Bucks in the following tier, 3, 4, 5,
Wow.
in that order. Yep,
Wow.
yep.
I am so
Um,
low on the Bucks, so I
wow.
disagree with you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to? I'm more curious to hear what you have to say about the Bucks.
Sure. I have the Bucks in our tier. I could not be more low on these guys, dude. Okay,
Wow.
yes, you have Giannis. I love the Miles Turner acquisition. I don't love you now have 22 mil in dead money for the next 5 years.
I
Seems
didn't say I
pretty
love the
insane to
Bucks.
me.
I didn't say I like the Bucks salary cap situation. I just think team
Um,
wise,
and any team with Kyle Kuzma on it, I just don't like that much. And who's their starting backcourt? Is it Kevin Porter Jr.
it's gonna be AJ.
and who? AJ Green?
I don't know if
Like,
AJ's
what are we
starting.
doing, man?
They brought
And
Green
and
back.
and and already Giannis is leaking. Well, the only team I wanted to go to was the Knicks, and I'm all in right now. But as a human, I reserve the right to change my mind in 6 months. Like, man, no, I am not high on the Bucks at all this year.
Fair enough. For me personally, and because we've experienced it, anytime you have Giannis on your team, you become a contender, no matter who's on the team. And this is a prime example. This has got to be one of the worst Milwaukee teams they've put out since he's taken that leap as an MVP candidate every year. I think the Turner ad is huge because 7-footer that can shoot, every team wants one. He's going to do big things for Giannis in terms of clearing the paint, letting him run ISOs and everything like that. Of course, like you said, guards, the backcourt is atrocious, for lack of a
Right,
better word. But
right.
anytime you have Giannis and like Miles, it's a nice 1-2 punch. Pick and roll should be nice. So I still, although like you said, with so many
And
guys on
Doc
the bench,
Rivers. We didn't even talk about Doc Rivers there. So that's another negative.
I just think Giannis is that good to where they're always
He
gonna be
is.
somewhere in the middle of the pack there. I put him fifth. I put him in the last team in my tier two, just to preface. So
Yes or no? Is this Giannis's last year as a Buck?
it's got to be. It has to be.
I'd agree. I'd agree. Which makes the Dame thing even stupider. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I agree with you. I have Cavs and Knicks alone with the Magic like right underneath. I was high on the Cavs last year. I I thought they'd beat the Pacers. They were a little injured, but the Pacers just kind of kicked their ass even when they were healthy. I'm really glad they didn't overreact and blow up their core this year. I think if they flame out again, then they will. Like they'll either split up the backcourt or Allen and Mobley. I think they're going to be strong, especially like they won 60 games last year with like everyone coming back except Levert for Lonzo. Like that's fine. Um,
Trivial.
yeah, so I'm really high on them. Next, like you said, yeah, Buseli's nice ad, Clarkson, they'll be good again. And then Magic, let's see it with Bane. Like it should be a perfect fit on paper with a Powell and a Franz leap. I like that as well. Then below them, I have the Pistons and the Pacers as like my next two teams, sort of by themselves.
Wow.
I know Pistons, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. They had a really good year last year. Um, they get Jaden Ivey back for Schroeder. That's sort of the big, and I guess they lost Beasley, but they added Duncan. Beasley was awesome for them last year, so
Hmm.
I'm not saying that's like Duncan's going to easily replace that. I can't say that, but I'm a big believer in Cade, Asar Thompson. Like It's funny. The rookie year, he was better than Amen, and then Amen blew up last year and was significantly better than Asar. So I wonder if it flips back and Asar
Although Asar
makes the
did have a
leap.
good end of the last year as well.
Yes, his. I think Brunson said his defense in the playoffs was like some
Yeah,
of the best Brunson had to deal with like the whole
yeah,
year.
yeah.
And then you still have Duran, the young guy, and like Detroit's got something cooking, man. And they have that Harris money.
Yep.
We're gonna do mock trades next week or right before the season, but I know there's been some marketing stuff floated out there with them. I think that'd be really interesting if they
Hmm.
decide to make a big push. So yeah, that's Detroit, and then Pacers. So I guess this is like the wow. Yeah, no Halliburton. Their depth is just insane, man. I think they're going to be still a strong regular season team. I believe in Nemhard a lot. I think even when Tyrese was hurt, like in our fantasy league, we'd race to go pick up Nemhard because
Hmm.
when given the minutes, he is really productive. I think Carlisle said Matherin's going to start this year. So let's see now. Like he'll get a big opportunity to show. They still got Siakam. Center's going to be tough. Jay Huff and Isaiah Jackson
Isaiah Jack.
tandem. Like yeah, that is Isaiah Jack off an
Huffington
Achilles.
Post.
Huffington Post. That's going to be a little tricky. But Jarris Walker, like they still have this top, what was the eighth pick, just rusting away on the bench. Like, okay, now this year they don't really have expectations. They can really see what they have in him. Um, I don't. I know they have their pick again, but I just think they have too many good players. Like they still have McConnell, right? Like I think that they'll just be too good of a regular season team. If the front court just screws them, that I can see where that tanks them, and then they're like, well, shit, let's just get a decent pick.
Well, but hang on. I
I,
thought they didn't have their pick.
no, they traded for it back from New Orleans, so we traded it to New Orleans, and then they
Oh
traded
shit.
for it
Who
from New
was in that?
Orleans. They got it back.
Who was in that trade? I didn't realize.
Let's see if I can find it. Team has reacquired their 2026 first round pick in exchange for the 23rd pick in this year's draft. So the Pelicans just wanted, another pick in the 2025 draft.
I mean,
So that's
I think they're kind of telegraphing what they're trying to do by doing that, right? Like, if
Mo
they're
Mo Mojave King, Mojave King was drafted 23rd. So that's who the Pels took for the
like
Pacers pick.
he'll go alongside Queen and Fears pretty well. But anyways, I think they're trying to tell us what they're doing by doing that, and it to
It's
me
definitely
that
a
means they
safety
don't have
net. It's
right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if they start maybe like 5-10 or 5-15, I think they commit because they know that the
yeah,
following year they're gonna be that much better.
and
This is
that could
their kind
easily
of
happen. Yeah,
of course. So I mean
yeah,
that's why I put them. Although I wasn't aware that they actually reacquired their own pick, so that kind of
yeah.
strengthens my own intuition about what they were trying to do. But I have them 10th in the East.
Wow. Okay. So you and me kind of flipped the Bucks, I guess. Bucks and
Yeah,
Pacers were pretty opposite
I'm
on.
curious to
Yeah,
see where
and
you have
and
the
I'm
Bucks
yeah.
in our tier, but
Yeah, in our tier. I'm not gonna argue the Pacers. I don't feel like that strong about them because like you
mhm,
said, they do have the ripcord available to them if they choose to. I just think they're a deep team. I mean, Aaron Naismith had really good playoff moments as well. I think they just got to the finals. They're gonna have some pride and they're gonna know sort of what it takes to get there. Obviously, losing two of your five of starting five, your offseason engine or offseason, your on-court engine with Halliburton and your stretch five that really kind of made everything work with Siakam. It's going to be tough. I do think that regular season wise, they'll still win a fair amount of games.
I
Okay,
guess for me as well, just really quick on Indiana, like as
sure.
deep as they are, that's great. These are all pieces that work very well with Halliburton. So now that he's gone, we'll have to see the cohesion with the team because they're all, I think, very particularly placed in accordance with Halliburton's skill set. And we might even see them start to unload some of these guys who contracts,
McConnell.
long-term McConnell, maybe Toppin, guys like this who
I
were
didn't
on
even say
slugs.
Toppin. He was yeah he was good last year too.
So, like guys who they've already paid but are movable contracts in which they can bulk up again for the following year. So that I'm not super high on Indiana. It's unfortunate what happened, obviously, but yeah, I don't think this will be a winning year for them, and I think they know that.
Okay. We have our big disagreement so far. Bucks and Pacers. Cool. All right.
And then, did you want to go? I can do my tier three if you like.
Sure. My next tier, I have 6 teams in it, so it's like a big tier.
Okay, it's a kind of a glob.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so after the Bucks, I have Hawks, Philly, and then us as six to round out six, seven, and eight in that order.
Hawks, Philly, and us. Okay. I have, yeah, I have those 3 teams as well in my next tier. I haven't really decided how I'm going to rank them. For full disclosure, I also have Celtics, Heat, and Bucks in this one.
Okay.
So I kind of have all 6 of these teams together. But let's
Wow.
start on the 3 you said. I mean, Sixers can be a 30-second conversation. I mean, how
There's
many
not much
games
to
is
say.
Joel and Paul George going to play? That's
That's what
about
it comes
it.
down to. Yeah.
I fucking had Embiid in fantasy last year. It was such a rough. Even when he played, it was a rough watch. I mean, he couldn't move. It was really bad. He's already said, "Oh, we're gonna be smart this year. We're gonna listen to the body." So, love Tyrese Maxey.
Joel.
I think yes. Edgecombe, obviously, they're pumped to get him, and wow, that was a huge draft night thing for them getting their pick. I'm pretty sure McCain's hurt again, but he showed
Yep.
flashes. So like their backcourt, and they finally reached a deal with Grimes. So their backcourt is looking strong. It's looking good. It's just so much money in Joel and Paul George for. I mean, do they combine for over 82 games this year? The fact that that's even a question is pretty sad. So
How much needle juice do you
yeah,
got for that finger? That'd be the
yeah.
question.
I don't really need to talk about them anymore, unless you do.
No, it's like you said, it's really going to come down to the health of Joel and Paul,
Yeah,
and how serious they are about winning as well. Like I think Maxi's going to be tasked with carrying the bulk of the load once again. Obviously, there was a lot of locker room rumblings from what happened last season,
yep.
about leadership
He called
and
out
like
Embiid
this guy
last year,
stepping up. Yeah,
so there
yeah.
you go.
So yeah, not much to add on that. It's just
Yeah.
it's going to come down to health and wanting this to win. Yeah.
Okay, let's do Hawks. Hawks for me, I mean, this is it, Trey Young. Like, you got your conference finals when Philly choked everything away. Thank you, Ben Simmons. And then you've kind of just been in purgatory since these like shitty play-in teams and low seeds, whatever. The DeJounte Murray trade, obviously a catastrophe. That could not have gone worse. And then you somehow save yourself by shipping him to our beloved Pelicans for Dyson, who was awesome last year. Jalen Johnson, awesome last year, albeit got hurt and missed a good chunk of the year. You trade for Porzingis, you sign Nikhil, you bring in Luke Kennard as just like a bench shooter. I love, and you still have Okongwu, who I think took a step last year. They finally started him over Clint. That was good. I like this team. I think people are very high on this team, and it's sort of like your magic point. I want to see it a bit. Porzingis literally looked like a corpse the last time we saw him on an NBA floor. So let's see how productive he can be. I know he played some European basketball this summer and looked better, people said. So hopefully he's over whatever sickness that was. They got a good roster. This is a Trey Young year for me, and he has not been extended. He's been eligible. They have not extended him. I think they also really want to see how this looks because I don't think they could build much more of a better roster for a Trey Young team.
No, no, I agree. Yeah, everything you said makes sense. I think another year at Shea should be interesting as well. It was pretty loose with what they gave him last year. I think there's a little bit more structure in the offense, so they kind of know how to use him more effectively. The only thing I'll say last year, which he would be a nice piece now, is they didn't get much for DeAndre Hunter in that trade. And
Yeah,
I
they got
think
what? They got
I
Levert
think it
and
was,
George Niang or
I think
something
so.
like that.
Yeah. So, and I think Niang's
Yeah,
now in Philly, right? Or
and Levert's on Detroit. So
yeah. Anyways, but
there's
my
probably
point
some pick
is
compensation in there too, but I can't
yeah,
remember off
yeah,
the top of
like
my
a
head.
second or something. But
Yeah,
any more like any defense you can add around Trey is always a positive. So that I mean that's the only thing they got young talent like you said, Jalen and
yeah.
Dyson. But this is a
And you're right.
deeper
I
roster.
didn't even mention Reece Like that's
Yeah,
another like cool guy for
yeah.
them.
So this is a prove it year for Trey, no doubt. And I think, like you
Yeah,
said, with the contract stuff, they're holding out for a reason. I think anything below a solidified playoff appearance is a disappointment for them
I agree for them.
after the
Yep.
offseason they had.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay. We don't really need to touch on Raptors. We've talked about them ad nauseum. I would
yeah,
just like we've kind of said, we think our talent and our depth matches up with these teams. We obviously can't say we need to see Orlando and the Hawks do it without saying the same thing about us. So we have the talent, we have the depth. Now it's the first year where we're going to try and win. So let's see how that goes. I don't. Do
so
you
you
need to
have
say
them
anything
top.
else?
No, no, I agree. But you have them top 8 in the East, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So do I
Yes.
have them
I do.
8th? Yeah.
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 Okay. I like I said, I don't know about you, but I have Celtics, Heat, but we already talked Bucks, so I don't need to do that again. Celtics, Heat, I also have in this tier.
I have Heat, Pacers, Celtics. So like we swapped
Okay.
the Pacers and
Yeah.
Bucks. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Celts, I think, is also a pretty quick convo. I know Tatum has said he's coming back. Even if he does, I think they'll be around a 500 team, maybe even a bit lower. Um, so they're starting Brown, White, and then I don't even know. Simons, I guess. So like Simons and
Simons,
White in the
Toronto.
backcourt with Brown, whatever center they do, Kita maybe. And then, I mean, Boucher was
Hauser.
awesome against us the other day. Hauser, Pritchard too. Like they're not going to
Pritchard's a
be
bench guy.
awful.
No, he's a
Yeah,
bench
but
guy.
I think he could pop, man, this year. I think he might be really strong.
Is he a guy that move at the deadline for something?
Houston Rockets, anyone? Yeah, I think Boston has enough good guys to stay competitive. If Tatum comes back, like I don't know, I don't. To me, I'm not even really thinking about that. They might not even let him. Like I don't really know how much sense it makes if you're the 9 seed and he's like, no, I'm coming back. Like I don't know how much that
I don't know
does.
if I don't know if you saw this quote, but apparently Kendrick, our boy Kendrick Perkins,
Oh, Kenny P.
mentioned that Celtics staff had to go to the Celtics facility to pull Tatum from rehabbing. That's how serious he's taking it. So I love the insight from
It's
Kendrick, but
It's funny because I was listening to the Wizards broadcast watching the game yesterday, and they said the same thing about Trey Johnson, like pumping up their rookie. No, they got to tell him to get out of the gym, and it's just like, okay, guys, like, come
I'm
on.
sure you're dragging
Uh,
Trey, screaming and kicking.
yeah. All right, yeah. So Celtics, they got some. I mean, they have definite flaws. They lost a lot of good players this year, but still championship DNA. Still Derek White, Jalen Brown. I think they're
But
still gonna be okay.
then again, in classic Celtics fashion, would they not take an opportunity like this to retool and bulk up for next year?
If
Still
they
have their
have the
core
ripcord,
intact.
they have the ripcord, they have
So
their pick. So if they want to do that, they can.
they know they're not winning. They always commit one way
Yeah,
or the other. I think this is a year they
yeah,
commit to tanking. They get a good pick. They trade off some assets. They get assets for the future, and that's
right.
why I'm just not high on the Celtics. Yeah,
All right, Heat. Harrow out for a month and a half still, I think.
sounds right.
They added Powell. Bam is obviously still there. They have whatever the fuck Terry Rozier is, probably his last little time in the NBA. They extended Nikola Jovic. Khalil Wares looked good in preseason. Um,
Davion.
Heat, man, they're just Davion. Yeah, Heat. They're just gonna be a motherfucker to play. You're gonna win or lose games like 90 to 86. Like it is what it is with them. I think they're gonna be around 500. I love the Powell ad. I think you're a Powell guy. I'm obviously a Powell guy. Yeah, I think not much has changed for them, and I think I can pretty confidently predict what they're gonna be around this year.
But it's in the past few years they've been in purgatory. Was like since the whole Jimmy and I
Yeah.
guess last year was when it was got really pronounced with, his beef with Pat Riley and everything. But um, I think this is a year of making decisions. If they see that they're, going to stay in purgatory, I think they commit. The Heat have never been a wishy-washy team like the Bulls where they're like, we're happy with being 9 seed. Like they're usually either on board to a
Yeah.
tank or they're retooling to be competitive. So does Bam and Harrow cut it as a contending team in the East?
I
Probably
would say
not.
no. Yeah.
Then again, Miami's also an attractive free agent destination.
Yep.
Obviously, Giannis has his eyes set on the Knicks, but no one doesn't like playing in Miami. They got deep
Yep.
pockets, so we'll see how everything plays out. But I agree. I think this is a good spot for them. Yeah.
Okay. I don't need to touch on any of my bottom tier: Hornets, Nets, Wizards, Bulls. I don't really feel the need to talk about any
Any
of them.
particular order? Yeah, I think the team that can surprise me the
Uh,
most is actually the Hornets, to be honest with you.
Over the
I
Bulls.
think over the Bulls for sure. The Bulls are just
Okay.
a complete directionless franchise.
Yeah.
But the Hornets actually have a lot of young talent, and it's about how serious LaMelo is still the leader, and he's going to be the leader until they decide to part ways with him. So
Yeah.
if he puts his big boy pants on and actually decides to take basketball seriously and winning seriously, hopefully that has a trickle effect. I think Con Knipple, their draft pick this
Yeah.
year, is a winning player. Like that guy,
They
he just
finally
shows that
took a
he
guy
he's a
who's
winner.
who's just they finally took a guy who's just like a simple good player, not Tijon Salon or whatever from last year. That's like, oh, this raw prospect that
Yeah,
could be good in 4 years. Like, no, they finally just took like an NBA ready shooter who's gonna be very helpful
yeah.
on a winning team. I
He's a
I
pro.
agree.
He's a pro. The way he handles himself off the court as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's definitely, and he's looked good in preseason. I saw a
yeah,
few clips of him.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's a team that could surprise me. Maybe they jump into a play-in. We'll see. But as
yeah.
far as the bottom four is concerned,
Bulls are gonna win. You know, they're loving winning 36 games. I think that'll happen again.
does Patty Will average more
Nets
than
and
10
Wizards.
assists?
Oh, Patty Will, what a contract for him. What a heist. Um, Nets and Wizards are gonna play poop ball and try and play worse than each other. Cam Tom, brother, good for you, bud. Yeah, you can get mad at people for saying criticizing your game, but I mean, there's a reason you're taking the qualifying offer, and it's going to be your last year in Brooklyn. So
Bro, chill. He
you
gave
and
80 and 101.
yeah, him and MPJ, you guys take as many fucking shots as you want, and you'll win probably like 20 games. So you and the Wiz, at least the Wiz have like young guys taking bad shots. But yeah, I
Really
don't need
quick,
to talk more. Yeah, sure.
just really on the Wiz, because you're in DC and maybe spend a little bit more time
Yeah.
on them. Do you see Middleton and McCollum finishing the year, or is there going to be
It's funny
some
because
trades?
I forget who I was listening to, but I actually think yeah, maybe CJ, yes. Well, I guess CJ is a free agent, but they have no vets on the team other than those guys. So I actually think there is value in keeping them there. Like, unless you're getting a nice pick, some shitty second rounder. Like, I'd rather just have two. One's an NBA champion, and one's like the direct the president, sorry, of the NBPB, sorry, the Players Association, the NBPA. Nice CBA, CJ. You really killed that one, you idiot. But he still is the president there. So yeah, just two solid vets. The Wizards are so young, dude. Like I think there is value for them keeping them around. If they get a good pick, they'll obviously consider it. But I don't think you need to be in a rush to move either of those guys.
Hmm. See what you get.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoever hits the test
So yeah,
waters.
yeah, so that's sort of our where we think. I think for me, best case Raptors. I could see them avoiding the play-in, a fifth or sixth seed. I could see that. Sadly, like I could see them being the 11th seed. I don't think so. I think a lot of shit would have to go wrong for that to happen.
I don't think we can get worse than the Pacers or the Celtics. I just don't think that can happen.
I'm a bit higher on both those teams than you are. Yeah, I think like I'd say most likely we'll be in the play-in again. If things go great, we're above that and like the sixth or the fifth seed. But yeah, that's sort of where we have Eastern teams. Do you have anything else to add, or should we quickly do X factors?
Nope, I'm all good.
Okay, let's do these kind of rapid fire. Just because we're already over an hour and we can kind of just sum up our thoughts. So, do you want to go first? Or do you want me?
I can bang mine out quick.
Okay. Well,
So,
let's go back and forth. So you do one, I
okay,
do one, and go on.
okay. So for
Yeah.
me, it's just Scotty, but particularly his defense. I think that's what's going to be holding us down to be able to do what we can do offensively. And this ties into our conversations before about focusing more on his strengths and not trying to change the kind of offensive player that he is. Any offense that he has is obviously icing on the cake, but as far as defense is concerned, Bino, RJ, IQ, null not great defenders in our starting lineup. If him and Pirtle can really hold it down, I think that was what we're looking from him.
Yep. I definitely agree. Scotty, he's our ceiling play. Like how he plays is going to sort of determine how high we can get. So I like the and we chatted about how rocky it's been the first two preseason games. So he's definitely going to have a sway on how far we swing either way. Great pick. I've already talked about IQ. He's number one for me. Mostly just playing. Like I need him to be relatively healthy this year. Minimum, I need 60 games from him. Um, I'm like I like his game. I like him as a player. I just need to see more of it. We're not tanking this year. We're trying to win. I need more games from him. And if he plays 60 games, I think that'll be a significant help to our team. So that's my number one for me is IQ.
Hmm. My second one is CMB. Just overall development. I think in order for us to actually, you know, avoid the play-in, he needs to be a big part of our bench mob, and
Interesting.
he
Okay.
might even see some starting minutes depending if there's injuries. If we run different rotations or whatever. Yeah, just defensively, I think is the biggest thing for him because
For
I'm
sure.
my
For
biggest
sure.
fear, of course, for the Raptors this coming year is just defense. So defense gets you on the court as
We
soon
we
as you
disagree on
start.
that. We disagree on that. I'm way more
Everyone
worried
that makes
about
it to the
the
NBA can
offense.
score 20. Like it's never. I don't think offensively you're gonna score points. That's the way it's gonna be. If you can play stellar defense, that's what's gonna keep you on the court. So if he can
Right.
do that, he can carry us further than what we're supposed to go.
Right. Yeah, I think a CMB is definitely going to be important to the bench and obviously our future outlook. I've really liked what I've seen in albeit two preseason games, two and a half with the Celtics. Um, I think he could be a significant sixth or seventh man for us this year and slot in for situational stuff against bigger fours or undersized fives. I think he could really make his impact felt on that end. So I like that as well. My second one is Darko. Darko has, I think, entering his third year as our coach, and this is his first year where there's expectations to win. I hold nothing for him or against him the last 2 years because it was so embarrassing. Like, I don't really, it's not on the coach when we're trying to lose. To me, this is a huge year for him uh, because there are now expectations. Like, now I'm going to start criticizing him if things aren't going well. Now there are expectations to win. If we don't, I'm looking at you as like maybe you're a problem. I like Darko a lot. Like I like his personality. I like sort of the messages he does. I love when we win and he runs in all fired up with the team. Like I love that shit. I think personality wise, he's awesome. But I don't really like, Dwayne Casey was an awesome guy and we kept getting embarrassed. And then Nick Nurse came in and I didn't miss Dwayne Casey at all. Like, I'm just saying, I want to win. And if we don't this year, I think we have a good roster. So unless we have a ton of injuries, I think there's no reason why we can't win more than half our games. And if we don't, I'm looking at Darko more this year.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with all of that. And then the last X factor that I have is Bino being an efficient one option and showing the ability to take over a game down the stretch. I think we haven't had a true like Pascal was our one before getting traded, and
Which was a
you know,
tough. That's a tough one to be honest. I love
yeah,
Pascal, but if he's your first option, it's kind of tricky.
and like the Pacers kind of saw that as their you know issue in the finals. Like Pascal is a perfect two. He's done it with Kawhi back in 2019. He cannot be a one, and you cannot win a chip with him. I think that's proven. So I think Brandon is a much more polished scorer than Pascal ever was, and I think he has the ability
Yeah,
to seal games down the stretch, and that's where we're going to look to him. So it's about being efficient, it's about being selective, and he's shown that during preseason.
yeah.
And he looks like he's come to play. Like he's ready to go. So
He's got a lot
if
to
he can
prove,
do
man.
that,
Got a lot to
for
prove this
sure,
year.
for sure.
Yeah, I definitely the X factor for Ingram for me is just A, staying healthy. He's been very injured the last couple of years. B, never been on a good winning team. Like Ingram has been putting up points. He's made an all-star team, but all on lower seeded teams. It'd be great if his Raptors era is where he comes into his own as I'm a good player and a winning player. That's why I wasn't in love with the trade when it happened. The rumors, because Brandon Ingram, for me, talented guy, but has never really turned that into wins. I love if that narrative sort of switched and winning became a big part of who he is as well. So good pick there as well. My last one, Bobby Webster, new honcho. I'm very excited, man, about Bobby. We're gonna, I think, find out quick if he was on board with all of Masai's thinking, or if he had his own ideas, but was just to lower down the pecking order. Um, I think even Masai did the Pirtle extension, right? So we've really had no significant move from Bobby yet. The whole thing with the Ravs, man, like with Masai in general, apparently he was such a bitch to negotiate with, which I don't hate. Like back in his prime days, we would come out on top with every trade, and then the last couple of years, a little rocky, like we talked about last time. But I'm very excited for a new voice. Like we said, love Masai, but I'm excited for some new direction here. I'm very curious to see if Bobby has his own sort of vision, or if he was like, no, Masai, I agree with all this stuff. Ingram trade, yeah, let's do it. Let's extend him for this. Let's extend Pirtle. I'm very interested. I can't, you and me love the trade deadline. I can't wait for that this year if we're in a position to buy, to see what Bobby can do. And yeah, man, I'm just really excited to see a new voice there and see sort of how different it is compared to the Masai years.
No, I agree. I think Bobby before was probably doing what he was told, as far as like the Messiah agenda, and I don't think he'll be as sentimentally attached to these players, as
I hope
Messiah
not.
was, for different
I hope
reasons.
not.
So
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
when he sees a good opportunity, he takes it, and I think
Right.
he's bred for this. Like he's been with the Raptors for years now. He's still young. He understands how this
Right.
works. So. I think if an opportunity presents itself and the season's not going how it should be, he'll make moves. He'll be quick.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. The last thing I wanted to say just quickly, I don't know about you, Dan, but with any members of our championship team, like those guys will always have like love from me, like all that whole roster. I always wish the best for. And I'm saying that because Chris Boucher made his return to Toronto with the Celtics on Friday and balled out, like really killed us in that first half.
Very well.
Um, and when he came back, he released this story on the Players Tribune, which is sort of like the Players newspaper. If you remember the KD My Next Chapter thing that when he went to Golden State, where that was a
I
Players
forget.
Tribune. Yes. And Boucher put out sort of an article about his upbringing, about growing up in Montreal. And I know I sent it to you. I know you haven't had a chance to read it. I'd encourage everyone to read it. It's a really crazy upbringing from him, and the odds were really stacked against him. So really encourage people to check that out if they want to learn more about Boucher. It's man, he had a tough coming up, and I'm really happy for him that he's carved out, a legitimate NBA career. This is now, I think, his 8th season. Like, that's awesome for him. On our championship team, which he talks about in the article, like he couldn't believe with his upbringing, he's now on the bus, like on top of the bus instead of riding the bus. And yeah, just really cool story. Encourage everyone to check that out. And I know for me, like anyone from our championship team, if they have cool stuff throughout the season, I'm going to bring up because I love everyone from that roster. And I hope Chris, not against us, but I hope he balls out in Boston this year for sure.
It's a great success story for sure.
100%. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we are going to be back in between the last preseason game and our first regular season game. So we're only going to do one more before the season starts. That one we're going to sort of go over predictions, like sort of more hot takes, our general expectations. We're going to recap the last couple preseason games. and then preview our first two games, which is in Atlanta on October 22nd, and then back home against the Bucks that Friday. So if you have nothing else, Dan, you can take us out, man.
Thanks very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Perfect. Over and out.